All right, another question that we have on occasion is the interest expense that my business pays tax deductible? And Alex is going to take that today.
Yeah, so we get that question sometimes, and as a business owner and operating a business, if you have a line of credit, usually you're not thinking about whether you can limit or you have to limit your interest expense and whether you can take a limitation. But there is a new tax code section 163J that does limit business interest expense for certain taxpayers. So if your gross receipts, your average gross receipts for the last 3 years is 27 million or greater, and so that number is indexed for inflation, so that number will change every year. But right now it's 27 million. So if your average gross receipts for the last 3 years is 27 million, then you do qualify, and you are potentially going to be limited.
So qualifying is not a good thing, or being subject to this limitation is not a good thing, right?
Correct. Yeah. Qualify in this case is not a good thing. So you're qualifying for this limitation potentially. So once if you qualify, the limitation then is measured of 30% of your tax version of EBITDA. So starting in 2022, you basically take your taxable income, add back what you would have deducted for interest expense, and you can take a deduction of 30% of that number. So taxable income plus interest expense, and then multiply by 30%, that's your limitation. So that's how much interest expense you can take. So again, a line of credit for a business that's operating at $27 million of gross receipts is probably not going to be running that limitation, but a highly leveraged company, perhaps right after a buyout of a shareholder that's carrying a heavy debt load, there might be a limitation here on business interest expense. And so being limited is not lost.
Okay.
So we do get a carry forward, which is a good thing. However, if you're in a situation where you're highly leveraged and you're getting limited, then you're probably running into that limitation year over year. So you are going to be bumping up into a little bit of a limitation situation. But I do want to emphasize that it's not lost. You do get the carry forward, and we'll eventually be able to take it, especially once you get your debt under control.